Hey, how y'all doing? This is Mongo Slade, and this will be my NXT report for September the 28th, 2020. And I'm just going to make it a dual video because we're going to do the NXT TakeOver 31 predictions as well. So, a little house cleaning before we get into this. Um, Triple H did the media call for NXT TakeOver. There was a couple of things that came out of that. So we're going to do that too. I'm about to go into that right now. So Triple H said he's not interested in leaving Wednesdays. I don't know why people keep asking him this. I think this is a question from Dave Meltzer. These people are just obsessed with NXT going to a different day. It's not going to happen, bro. Like, they made the decision a long time ago that NXT was going to run on Wednesdays. I mean, it's just how it is. Now, it may be better and more convenient for you that NXT goes to Tuesdays, but it doesn't really mean anything to them. They want to run the show on Wednesday. They're running the show on Wednesday. End of. You know, and for anybody who thinks, oh, well, NXT would probably do better on a different night, no, they won't. They do pretty much the same numbers on any night. Uh, it is not really better for NXT. It's not better for Triple H, of course, because he had to work Raw. Because I'm pretty sure he does backstage stuff for Raw, and he have to do something for NXT the very next night. No, get a day to get a dude a day off. I mean, at least a day to get his stuff together. I mean, come on. He's helping with Raw. He's probably helping with SmackDown too. You know, give him a day break in between, for Christ's sake. You know, just because these people want, AEW to have its own night, it's kind of nonsense. Okay, so another thing that came out of this media call was that Tegan Knox tore her ACL. Look, I think Tegan Knox is one of the most boring people in the company, but I don't wish injury on anybody. She'll be gone for like 9 months to a year. She's already had the surgery, apparently. In kayfabe, they blame Candice, so they kind of just gonna. I guess Candice is gonna still be there in 9 months, and that's just kind of how it's gonna be. So Tegan Knox and Candice LeRae are going to pretty much be feuding when she comes back. All right, so let's get into NXT. We're gonna see Shotzi Blackheart defeated Dakota Kai. It was okay. Shotzi is actually quite okay as far as the technical wrestling is concerned. It's a little clunky, but she actually does decent stuff as far as her submissions and everything. Pretty solid match. And Rhea Ripley interfered. Raquel Gonzalez interfered, and Rhea Ripley came in and knocked her down. This match was not announced for TakeOver yet, so I'm really kind of questioning if it's actually going to happen or they're going to try to save it for NXT TV. In any event, they really should have done the match by now because they've kind of really been slow building this Ripley Raquel Gonzalez thing. Okay, so they had to sit down with Santos Escobar and Swerve Scott, Isaiah Swerve Scott. It was actually pretty good. Santos Escobar is really good. Like, he is what they're looking for as far as a legit Mexican star that can speak perfect English. So Andrade, Angel Garza, those guys, they in real trouble. Only problem is I think Escobar is probably above 35. I think that might be like the only weakness that he's got is that he's plus 35 and he's kind of small. He didn't look that small when he was King Cuerno in Lucha Underground. Maybe it's because everybody in Lucha Underground was small except for Mil Muertes and Matanza, who was Jeff Cobb, who was also short. But him and Swerve had a nice little back and forth. It was pretty much Swerve saying that he can adapt to anything and he's going to have to adapt to Escobar's cheating. And Escobar claiming, hey, I've brought lucha culture to the cruiserweight division and reestablished it. And we're going to get into who I think is going to win later, but I really like both of these guys. I really like this match. It's going to be fun. So they did another vignette for the 10/4/2020. I'm gonna go into that into the predictions. It's apparently going to be some type of returning champion. I'm gonna pitch some ideas in the prediction part. So then they did a great vignette, a prime target for Kyle O'Reilly. Showed him doing mixed martial arts and a lot of that stuff. And he said that they didn't go into his Ring of Honor career. Obviously, they don't have any of the footage. But he was one of the last few ROH champions I really paid attention to. There was the build between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly in Ring of Honor. I thought it was really good. And that's back when I thought Kyle O'Reilly was like super boring. He's one of the most boring dudes in the world. And I thought that whole ordeal that they did with Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly was really fun. But they really did a good job here, and they talked about a lot about Kyle O'Reilly kind of chasing Finn Balor for years. That he's kind of been looking for him, trying to get into the ring with him. But he would always when he came to Japan, Balor had already left and came to NXT. And then when he got to NXT, Balor had left and gone to Raw. So it was always never the right place, the right time. But now it is, and he can't wait for the opportunity or whatever. So then Cameron Grimes comes out. The next segment was Cameron Grimes coming out, complaining about the gauntlet. Said it wasn't a good idea, and he was going to have his own gauntlet. So then he decides he's going to set up all these opponents. So this was stupid, and it really just served the purpose of Cameron Grimes getting beat up by Ridge Holland, who came out second after he beat up one of Grimes' setup opponents, which was silly. I don't even understand. See, the last week Ridge Holland was a heel. Like, they dubbed in all these boos for Ridge Holland. It's for seemingly no reason, because I didn't understand why they was booing him. And this week it was like they piped in cheers. So they have no idea what they're doing with Ridge Holland or what they want him to be quite yet. They need to make up their mind, because the guy's good. I don't see any reason to boo him. He hasn't cheated. He hasn't stolen anything. He hasn't beaten up anybody. So why are we booing him again? Okay, so they did and I guess they're not booing him now because Cameron Grimes is a heel. And he beat the shit out of Cameron Grimes. He basically just stomped a mud hole in the guy. So I don't... Whatever. Kushida did a vignette talking about his struggles. Essentially that he was, they did a good job of explaining how, why Kushida was losing so much. That he was distracted from moving his family from Japan to the United States. But now that he's been here a while, he's going to show the world the real Kushida, and he's promised, to be a little bit more vicious, and said that he's going to show Velveteen Dream the real Kushida. So then Kushida wrestled Tony Nese. Tony Nese is what you would think WWE would really like, even though he's in a small package. I wrote down that he's sort of the new Paul Roma. If you remember who Paul Roma is, I think Tony Nese is perfect. That's a perfect parallel. He's very bland. Tony Nese looks like the kind of guy WWE would really like, because he's jacked. He's very, very well cut, but he just has zero personality, and they have no interest in even trying to give him any. But he's a good worker. I don't see why they don't put him in a tag team or something with somebody much like a Paul Roma. Do a Power and Glory style tag team with Tony Nese, and maybe with a bigger guy. I don't know with who, but somebody. But Kushida basically pummeled him. And won. And then Velveteen Dream did a short promo where they piped in a lot of cheers. A lot of boos, but basically saying that the spotlight would be too much for Kushida, and that he's gonna beat Kushida at Takeover. So Kushida versus Velveteen Dream will be at Takeover. So Dexter Lumis is back from his foot injury. He didn't do anything. He just kind of scared Cameron Grimes by standing there staring at him. Adam Cole came out. He cut a promo. He basically said that Undisputed Era dominated NXT for 3 years. Talked about the prophecy that they keep talking about. And Austin Theory earlier in the night had made some snide comments about Kyle O'Reilly. And so Adam Cole said, hey, you either come out here and fight me now, or you stay there, and the other members of Undisputed Era are going to beat you to death, or almost beat you to death. And so Austin Theory came in, and they had a pretty good match. Austin Theory is still being punished, obviously, for whatever he was involved with this underage kid, supposedly, allegedly. But he's getting a little bit more offense every week. So they're kind of letting them work it off. For the first couple of weeks that he was in NXT, he was just basically getting killed. Now, he's standing in there toe-to-toe with Adam Cole a little bit. Got a little bit more offense in than I would have expected. But it was pretty decent. Maybe with some effort and some time, it could have been a little bit more. So then they did Xia Li versus Kaden Carter. This match was 3 minutes, and it really served no purpose other than to continue building the Xia Li heel turn. Xia Li is being a poor sport. She keeps losing and to Kaden Carter and Kacy Catanzaro, and she's pushing them down, and these women are dead in the water. This part of the women's division, which is the lower the lower part of the women's division gets like no focus. You know, they don't talk, they don't do anything. They just go out there in matches that are kind of like commercial breaks. And Xia Li's been under contract for like a year and a half. I think maybe even longer than that. They need to do something with her. I'm not even sure how her English is because she never talks. Kaden Carter also never talks. Casey Catanzaro never talks. They never say anything. So it is. I have no idea what they're gonna do with these women or why. But Xia Li is okay. Like, she's definitely hot. She's really hot. Like, if you see her, like the pictures she's posting on Twitter and stuff like that, Instagram, I don't know where she's posting them. She's posting them everywhere, and she's hot in every one of them. The little Chinese girl. All right, they did the face-to-face between Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly. Well, they did some back and forth. Kyle O'Reilly actually showed a lot of personality here. He was making jokes. He imitated he did an Irish voice, you know, talked about his freckles and everything. Basically, he was kind of irritating Finn Balor a little bit. Saying basically that he's not really the underdog. That, you know, Finn Balor has been wrestling for 20 years, but he's been wrestling for 15. You know, what's 5 years difference? And that, you know, Finn Balor basically just said, hey, against anybody else, you probably would be the next champion, but you're going against the Prince. Therefore, you're not going to be the champion. This was interesting. They didn't do it in the ring. They did it sort of pre-taped, which was probably good. But there's a lot of Shawn Michaels on TV this week. They shot this promo kind of like Kyle O'Reilly is going to be the babyface. And they keep saying, essentially, now, in the prime target for Kyle O'Reilly, he talked about how the Undisputed Era was the best thing that ever happened to him, and is one of the greatest things has ever taken place in his career, and he's really happy about it. And then you know, Adam Cole, he talked about how Undisputed Era dominated NXT, and that this Sunday it won't be any different because Kyle O'Reilly is going to win the NXT title, and nothing's going to change. And, you know, they keep saying nothing's going to change. And then in this promo, Finn Balor asks if he's going to have to fight Kyle O'Reilly one-on-one, or is it going to be the Undisputed Era interfering? And Kyle O'Reilly pretty much says, oh, no, I'm going to do this on my own. You know, kind of how it's always been. We've always just done things on our own. And I think they're kind of building a split in the Undisputed Era. We'll get to that into the predictions. But I kind of like this, and they making it feel like Kyle O'Reilly is the underdog babyface, which is weird, but okay. You know, a lot of people think this is a rush job. They think that there's not enough build to this pay-per-view, but I think that they're doing a good job here. You know, with telling this story, that there's something odd about the Undisputed Era, and I really like that idea. So the main event was Damian Priest and Io Shirai versus the LeRays, Candice and Johnny, who won the match. The finish came from Candice LeRae hitting Damian Priest in the balls, and then Johnny used his slingshot DDT over the top rope to win the match. Then, of course, they posed with the titles, which is always a bad omen for heel contenders. Never pose with the title if you're a heel contender, unless you're Jinder Mahal. Then you can get away with it. Because I remember Jinder Mahal stole the WWE Championship that one time, and then he started taking pictures with it. And we was like, come on. Why Jinder Mahal? Why would you do that, Jinder? And then he ended up winning the goddamn title. He ended up winning that son of a bitch. All right, so let's get into these predictions. That was kind of a short NXT thing. The episode, it was what it was. There was a lot of vignettes in this thing. So there was like a couple of matches, but it was a lot of vignettes. It was a solid episode. You know, it was okay. You know, the women's match, Dakota Kai and Shotzi Blackheart, was really kind of long. It was the longest match of the night. It was like 15-20 minutes. And they're not shy about giving women that time, you know, especially Shotzi. They're not concerned at all about giving Shotzi Blackheart 20 minutes. So maybe they should be, but they aren't. Okay, so let's talk about these predictions for NXT Takeover 31. So the card. Let's see. Let's go through the 10-4 vignettes first. All right, so the vignettes have pretty much been somebody apparently a former champion is going to return. A lot of people thought it might be Bobby Roode. I didn't think it would be Bobby Roode because of the way of the videos have been put out with the kind of hacker-ish tech-based theme. I didn't see that being that. I don't see that how that fits Bobby Roode. So I didn't think it would be Bobby Roode. Then Bobby Roode showed up on Raw, so it probably definitely wouldn't be him. So there are some options that we have here. For starters, if it has to be a former champion, right? Does that mean a former singles champion or a former tag team champion? Now, the first vignette where they threw the bat or whatever into the glass, he picked up maybe one title, but I think it might have been two titles in the glass. If it's a tag team, I think that it's probably going to end up being the Forgotten Sons. But I don't think it'll be a tag team. Then there's the idea that it could be a woman. So if it has to be a former champion and a woman, the only option you have is Ember Moon. And I think she's still injured. Now, all the other women who have been NXT Women's Champion are either still on the main roster or are Paige and completely retired. So I looked up the list, and I wrote down, and the only one that's still active and not doing anything is Ember Moon. So could it be Ember Moon? It could be. If she still hurts, it definitely won't be, but I think she's still injured, so it probably won't be Ember Moon. So that means that we have men. And of the men that are still active, that are former NXT champions, that aren't doing anything, you only have two. Now, you have Andrade, who's still on Raw. You have Bobby Roode, who's on Raw. Aleister Black, who's still on Raw. Drew McIntyre is actually the WWE champion, so he's definitely not going to be him. So you have Big E, not going to be him. You have Neville, who is Pac in AEW and probably still stuck in England, so it's not going to be him. The only answer is fucking Bo Dallas. That's the only one that could be. It could be Bo goddamn Dallas. I know there's a lot of people who are excited about this idea of Bo Dallas because they've tricked themselves into thinking, oh, Bray Wyatt is great and funny and talented, therefore Bo Dallas must be great, funny, and talented. The answer is no. Bo Dallas was good at being annoying, but much like when they brought back Tyler Breeze, Bo Dallas was a product of people being very generous to the NXT talent at the time. Bo Dallas was not that good. Okay, he was good at being annoying, but it did not transfer to the main roster for a reason. Now, I'm willing to give it a shot if it is Bo Dallas. I'm gonna give him some time. I'm always like, hey, go away, learn a new hold, as JR say. Go learn a new hold, go repackage yourself, and come back. Maybe you'll come back better. Whatever. I'm willing to give you a chance, but I'm not thrilled about the Bo Dallas return, okay? I'm not happy about that. It's not going to increase your ratings. It's not going to be something anybody's going to be super excited about outside of people who were the same kind of people who were excited to see Tyler Breeze return to NXT are the same kind of people who are excited about Bo Dallas. And I don't understand why you would be. Bo Dallas is not a big star. I'm sorry, NXT needs stars. Bo Dallas is not a star. He's a role player. And if you bring him into NXT to try to treat him like a big star because he used to be NXT champion, you have to understand that was a completely different NXT. When Finn Balor won that title, not even Finn Balor, when Kevin Owens won that title, the NXT championship, it became a different being. It became a different thing. It became essentially the indie title, right? You had to be like an indie guy to be the NXT champion. Or you had to be a star somewhere else. Like Andrade was a star in Mexico. Nakamura was a star in Japan. Adam Cole and Keith Lee. All these guys were stars on the American Independents. You can't just be random guy from the Performance Center and be NXT champion anymore. It doesn't work that way. It hasn't happened since. There hasn't been a random NXT champion from the Performance Center in a long, long time. Since then. Hell, even going back further than that, I think Big E might have been the last one. And he was the first NXT champion because Tyler Black, who was Seth Rollins, former NXT champion, he was a big star in ROH. Sami Zayn was a big star in ROH. So yeah, it's like it's the indie belt. I don't think Bo Dallas is going to be the guy that's going to get that belt again. Yeah, I just don't see him being a difference maker. I'm sorry if that upsets you and you're a Bo lever, but fuck off. It's Bo Dallas. Who cares? All right, so let's go through the card. So you got Kushida versus the Velveteen Dream. I like the Velveteen Dream. I'm not thrilled about this match because I really wanted Kushida versus Finn Balor. But I'm interested in seeing the new Kushida. I wonder if they're going to debut like new music and new entrants and everything for him. If they kind of need to do that, if they're going to push this new Kushida, they kind of need to drop the Time Splitter Kushida. And as much as everybody loves Time Splitter Kushida, they kind of have to kind of get rid of it. Push it to the side, maybe do something else, update him somehow, and get him away from that Back to the Future stuff. Get him away from it. I fully expect Kushida to win this match. I fully expect Kushida to win. Velveteen Dream is not getting pushed. Not anytime soon. After he loses this match, he'll probably disappear for another month or so. And then they'll try to push him again, maybe feed him to somebody else. But Velveteen Dream has killed the reaction. The allegations have killed any interest in him moving up to the main cards, like Raw or SmackDown. And it's sad because again, it's ruined his life, and that stuff has not been proven, and it makes watching Velveteen Dream really uncomfortable. So you have the NXT Women's Championship, Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai. I definitely think Io Shirai is going to win. If Tegan Nox was at some point closer to returning, I would say give the title to Candice. But you also have to take into effect, now that I sit here and think about it, that the WWE draft, is actually the next week. So 5 days after NXT TakeOver is the beginning of the draft. And how that's going to affect NXT, I don't know. Now, there's a lot of people who are flipping out because NXT is having TakeOver so close together, and they're not building them like they used to. They have to realize WWE pulled 5 NXT talents at one time for Retribution. They pulled Keith Lee, and they pulled a bunch of other people. They've been pulling people all year from NXT. So NXT has really just been depleted. We don't know what the draft is going to do to NXT. So, these predictions is going to be based off of assuming that NXT is not going to change. Okay? And that instead of losing people, NXT might actually gain some people. But I think that the common thread is that they're probably going to end up losing people. So I think that with that in mind, I think Candice LeRae, much like Johnny Gargano, is not leaving NXT. So I think that she drops this match to Io Shirai, and maybe she wins the title later on. So we're going to go with Io Shirai for the women's champion. The NXT Cruiserweight Championship, for the first time since the NXT Cruiserweight title has existed, they rebranded the Cruiserweight title the NXT Cruiserweight Championship, which is disgusting, by the way, because this proves that they don't really care about the Cruiserweight title. And it's sad because almost all of the guys who can wrestle for it are fucking good and talented. Maybe there's something missing with one or two of them but there's absolutely no flavor and no life whatsoever to 205 Live. It's basically the same guys wrestling each other in front of nobody. But I love Santos Escobar. I love Isaiah Swerve Scott. I like I think his name is Adonis now, or Ashanti the Adonis. He's pretty cool. He wrestles on 205 Live. He is one of my guys that I wish that they really would just fold into NXT proper, and that he really would do something. So if I could utilize my good vibes that I used to get Will Hobbs a job on AEW Dynamite, I want to do the same thing to Ashanti Ashanti the Adonis. Let's get my man's. He got that one match with Velveteen Dream. He showed me in that one match that he got something. And I want to see more of it. But they need to actually fucking care about the Cruiserweight division. They don't give a fuck, so why should anybody else care? Okay, that's sad. But these guys are great. And I wouldn't take the title off of Santos Escobar yet, because I'm scared that if they put the title on Swerve, the title is going to disappear. Because I don't think Swerve is barely going to be on TV. So I'm going to go with Santos Escobar. And I think they may double back to Drake Maverick later on. Even though Drake Maverick has fallen down the memory hole after his summer. You know, he had a pretty hot summer. He kind of fell down the memory hole. But I'm going to go with Santos Escobar. Even though they've been telling the story that Swerve was the only person to ever beat Santos Escobar. But I think telling that story basically means that it's time for Santos Escobar to actually win. So, Escobar is going to win. So, for the NXT North American Championship, Johnny Gargano versus Damian Priest. I'm going to go with Damian Priest for obvious reasons. Not only because he lost the tag team match, but because there's really no benefit in putting Johnny Gargano over. This is an opportunity. You have an opportunity with Damian Priest. He's been the North American champion that has been wrestling in main events. They consider him to be a star. Why? It's a good thing, because he is one of the best things that they have in NXT. They cannot risk taking the title off of him and Vince snatching him. Because if Vince snatches him, it's over. He's probably going to end up staring eye to eye with Roman and end up being, you know, food for Roman Reigns or Drew McIntyre or something like that. So they need to hold on to Damian Priest as long as they can, because he's actually cool. He's actually good in the ring. He fits this system. Now, he would definitely be a big star on SmackDown or be a big star on Raw, but he fits this NXT system. He needs to be there. Well, NXT needs him there. Let's put it that way. He should be the NXT champion, if we're being honest, but North American champion is just as good. Johnny Gargano, I don't know. You could throw him in the gutter. I don't care about Johnny Gargano at all. So, the main event, Kyle O'Reilly versus Finn Balor for the NXT championship. And this is a toss-up, believe it or not. Balor just won the title. But it would not surprise me if the obsession with people like Adam Cole and Undisputed Era, if they're not leaving. If Undisputed Era is not leaving, then putting the title on Kyle O'Reilly, you can then take the next year building up the fallout of the Undisputed Era. How the jealousy between O'Reilly and Cole, or O'Reilly and Strong, or something like that, you really could build and tell that story. And since they like doing long-form stories with Adam Cole, they could do that. Now, if Undisputed Era is going to get snatched all at once and then taken to SmackDown or something, then you kind of just want to get this match out of the way just to get it done. Just so, you know, Balor could have had wrestled everybody in Undisputed Era. I think Bobby Fish. I don't think he wrestled Bobby Fish. I think Bobby Fish is injured, by the way. I'm not sure. But it would be a prime opportunity to give Kyle O'Reilly the title. It would be a prime time. It's only been 30 days or so since Finn Balor won it. But using him as a transitional champion that sucks for him. But then there's also that opportunity that, you know, Vince could call and be like, hey, we need Finn. We need Finn, pal. We need to bring him back on up, pal. Even though you don't, because NXT needs Finn Balor. They do. They need him down there. So I'm going to go with Finn Balor. I think Finn Balor is going to win. I think Triple H is going to be able to hold on to his guys. And I still think that they may do a rematch of O'Reilly and Balor, you know, maybe for TV or something. And then maybe O'Reilly will win the title. But, you know, O'Reilly is, again, man, he fits the mold. They need more stars in NXT. They need to take more chances. They need another meta narrative. Like they need a big story that carries on from week to week to week to week. That does not involve Tommaso Ciampa or Johnny Gargano. They really kind of don't need. They really need to move on from Adam Cole and Finn Balor as well. And you know, but if you put the title on Kyle O'Reilly, you're not really. You're really just pretty much moving Adam Cole back into the sphere of the title. So I'm guessing Finn Balor beats Kyle O'Reilly, and what we do from there, I have no idea. Maybe Adam Cole costs Kyle O'Reilly the title because he doesn't want him to have it. You know, if I couldn't beat Finn Balor, you can't beat him. Who knows? But those are my predictions So my predictions again are Kushida over Velveteen Dream, Io Shirai over Candice LeRae, Santos Escobar over Isaiah Swerve Scott, Damian Priest versus over Johnny Gargano, and Finn Balor over Kyle O'Reilly. It would be kind of weird for them to have a takeover and not have any title changes. That would be weird. But, you know, NXT is known for building stronger champions. And if they were going to take any title, it would probably be the Cruiserweight title. Because maybe, I mean, you could pull Legado del Fantasma and team them up with Zelina Vega on Raw or SmackDown or something like that after the draft. So the draft could screw everything up. But I'm interested in what they're doing here. I'm not upset that they're having takeovers so close together. It's not a problem for me. You got to give us a reason to watch the network. Have these things as often as you feel like you need to have them. There's no set schedule for takeovers anyway. You know, they just kind of do them at random. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you watched NXT, let me know what you think of the show. If you got predictions for takeover, hit me in the comment section below. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you guys later.